Come with me to break my book buying ban. One thing about me is that I love to go book shopping, however, it does get out of hand sometimes. So I have been on a book buying ban for the last few months to kind of rein in this addiction of mine. However, I just finished my junior year of college, so I decided why not treat myself. So it is the next day and I have my book haul for you guys. I also have a few books that were sent to me by publishing companies, by authors, that I think I'm going to include in this haul as well, just because why not add more books into my book haul, you know? The more the merrier at this point. So the first 3 books of this haul were actually sent to me by Atria Publishing, so thank you so much for sending me these. The first one is The Breakaway by Jennifer Weiner. This is about 33-year-old Abby Stern, who recently reconnected with her childhood sweetheart, I guess. They met when they were kids at this weight loss camp, and it honestly seemed like fate. However, Abby is left with all these doubts about the relationship, and she's constantly haunted by these memories of this one-night stand that she had. So when she gets the call to lead this bike trip from the Niagara Falls to New York City, she jumps at the opportunity, and lo and behold, she runs into her one-night stand, Sebastian. So this cycling trip really acts as an opportunity for Abby to reflect on her relationships with her past boyfriends, with her current boyfriend, with her mom, things like that, and it really is an eye-opening experience. So moving on, the next book in our haul is Love, Lies, and Cherry Pie by Jackie Lau, I want to say. I'm super sorry if I mispronounced her last name. I'm horrible at names. This book is about Emily, and Emily's mother is constantly trying to matchmake her with this guy named Mark Chan. And according to her mom, he is a catch. He is the most perfect guy out there. Like, why wouldn't her daughter want to marry Mark Chan? However, in Emily's eyes, he's really not that great. He's quite boring. He's an engineer. They just don't have anything in common. It's not going to work out. However, because she is so tired of her mother's insistent nagging, she decides to fake date Mark Chan. So she goes to him and he's like, listen, my mom is overbearing. I know your mom is overbearing. Like, let's just fake date to get them off our back. Like, come on. And the rest is history. Obviously, I am so excited to read this book because I am a huge fan of the fake dating trope. But I also just love the cover. Like, this is such a cute cover. 10 out of 10, honestly. And I also just love the representation of having 2 Asian main characters. Like, we love it, especially because May is Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Like, this book is perfect. So the third book that was sent to me by Atria was The Fiance Dilemma by Elena Armez. This is actually an advanced reader copy of the book. It's actually supposed to be released on July 30th, so make sure to go and pre-order your copy. This book is about Josie Moore, and she does not have the best of luck when it comes to the romance department. She actually has 4 failed engagements under her belt, and this kind of becomes an issue for her family because it's not the best publicity for them. So Josie ends up fake dating her brother's best friend, Matthew Flanagan. And obviously this does solve her original problem. However, it also opens a whole bunch of new problems. So this book is fake dating, obviously. It's brother's best friend. It's small town and it's for its proximity. I am so excited to read this book. When this was originally announced, I was super excited about it. I just love the premise. I read The Spanish Love Deception like 2 years ago, and then I recently read The Long Game. So I am a fan of Elena Armez as an author, and to have an advanced reader copy of her book is just so wild. So moving on, I was actually sent a few YA thrillers by Sourcebooks Fire. I'm so excited about all of these just because I'm trying to get more into the thriller genre, trying to branch out into new horizons, I guess. I'm not going to go into much detail about what these books are about just because I love going into thrillers blind. I feel like it just enhances your reading experience, especially because thrillers kind of are meant to build suspense and they want to blindside you with all these twists and turns. So I try to go with as little knowledge as possible. So the first book we have is 49 Miles Alone by Natalie D. Richards. This is actually an advanced reader copy, so this book is not out until July 2nd. And the back of the book says 4 days alone in the desert, except they're not as alone as they think. 4 days, 2 hikers, 1 killer. Okay, this sounds so intriguing and it doesn't seem that long, so it seems kind of like a perfect, quick thriller read. The next book we have is Perfect Little Monsters by Cindy R.X. He, I want to say. And this is also an advanced reader copy. However, it will be out by the time this video is uploaded. And the back of this book says, someone has murdered the queen bee of Seriton High School. All the dead girl's friends are suspects, and each one has a reason for wanting her to die. Oh my gosh. Drama. Okay, this book definitely sounds so good. I love that it's like a group of popular girls. I don't know why, but that just like screams drama to me, okay? And then the third book we have is A Family of Killers by Bryce Moore. This is also an advanced reader copy and it will be released on August 6th. And then the last book that was sent to me by Sourcebooks Fire was Tell Me What Really Happened by Chelsea Sidoti. I'm just butchering all these people's last names, so I apologize. But the back of this book said, there are stories about the woods around Salvation Creek, about the people who have gone missing. Now their friend is one of them. And then the front of the book says, she's missing, they were with her. So sounds like another little mystery, murder mystery almost. Like she went missing, they're trying to figure out where their friend went, what happened to her friend. And then this book is also told entirely through first-person police interviews. So that is actually really interesting. I think that's so fun. Definitely different to how other mystery books are formatted. So moving on, the next book we have is How Are We Feeling by Bobby Campos. And the back of the book says, Lilac Diaz and Eden Moon meet when she and her friends are hired by the entertainment company he and his group members are managed under. They begin working together to write a script for the company's first television series production. As the months go by, their friendship grows strong and they navigate the feelings that comes with life changes and new relationships. So it sounds like this book is friends to lovers. It's also workplace romance since they work at the same company. I think this book does sound really good and it's by an indie author, so I feel like that adds some extra points in there. However, there are some content warnings, so please do your research before jumping into this book. So the last book that was sent to me was Mr. Wicked by Marnie Mann. This was sent to me by Valentine PR, so thank you so much. This is the second book to the Hooked series. It's an age gap, billionaire, romance. It's Grumpy Ex Sunshine. It's also fake dating / like fake marriage, I think. I love a good fake marriage trope. I don't know why, but it just always hits. I feel like it always adds like tension and angst to the story. I haven't read the first one in this series. However, I take it that it's an interconnected standalone series, so I really don't have to read the first one. So yeah, so that concludes all the books that were sent to me. Now we're moving on to the books I bought at Barnes & Noble. I bought 6 books total, I think, and most of them are highly anticipated reads, so it feels amazing that I finally got my hands on a copy. So the first book of my Barnes & Noble haul is Powerful by Lauren Roberts, and can we please just acknowledge how comically small this book is? Like, why did they have to do this to us? It's safe to say I will be reading this book exclusively in the comfort of my own home because I will be embarrassed to pieces bringing this out in public. So if you did not know, this book is actually a novella to the first book, Powerless, and it's about Peyton's friend, Adina. We see a lot of their friendship at the beginning of Powerless, however, things kind of shift and we don't see a lot of Adina, and this is kind of what happened to Adina while Peyton was away. I am super excited to read this book. I'm also kind of nervous because if you know, you know. I'm just hoping this book kind of holds me over until Reckless is released, because that is another highly anticipated read. Like, I cannot wait to see what happens to Peyton and Kai. This is also your sign, if you haven't already, to read Powerless because you'll love it. So the next book I got from Barnes & Noble was Wild Love by Elsie Silver. This is of course her newest release, and it's also the start of her newest series, and it takes place in the same universe as the Chestnut Springs series, so we will be seeing some beloved characters, I believe. So this book is about Ford and Rosie. Ford has had a crush on Rosie since literally forever. However, he's always stopped himself from going after her because it is his best friend's sister. Like, that's just a no-no when it comes to friendships, I believe. But when she ends up back in town, he kind of sees this as his second chance at love. So he decides that he is going to go after her, obviously. This is brother's best friend, it's small town, it's workplace romance, it's single dad, it's a billionaire romance. Like, it just sounds perfect. I've heard amazing things about this book. Like, I literally cannot scroll through my Instagram feed without seeing this on there. I'm so excited to read this, except I haven't finished the Chestnut Springs series yet. So let me know if I should finish that first and then read this, or if I should just say screw it and read this, because I'm super excited about this. But yeah, so the next book we have is Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. This has been on my radar for quite some time. I feel like at one point or another, there was a time where I could not scroll through my Instagram feed without seeing this book. And now here I am, finally picking it up after months later. The trend has died, but here I am. So this is actually a serial killer romance, which sounds super dark and daunting and twisted, which, yes, but it's also technically a dark romantic comedy, which I really had no clue was a thing until now, but I'm really excited about that. So this book is about Sloane and Rowan. They're both serial killers, obviously, and they're actually each other's like rivals. They're constantly trying to one-up each other when it comes to murder. And because of their love of this common interest that they both share, they develop an unlikely friendship. So it's also friends to lovers. I think this book sounds actually really great for October, so I might hang on to it until then, but who knows? I am such a mood reader, I might want to read this like tomorrow. So moving on, the next book we have is Six of Crows by Leah Bardugo. I think that's how you say her name. This is such an OG book talk book, and before anyone comments about the reading order or whatever, I am reading this with my boyfriend Nolan, who is not a reader by any means, so I don't really care about the reading order, nor does he. I know there's a lot of discourse about whether or not you're supposed to read this before Shadow and Bone, or you're supposed to read Shadow and Bone before this. We don't care, okay? I just really want to read something with him, and when we were at the bookstore, this is what piqued his interest, so there you have it. So this book is about Kaz Breaker, I think that's how you say his name. He is like a criminal prodigy, and he is actually offered this like one-in-a-lifetime chance to pull off this heist. He decides that he has to take it, however, he can't pull it off alone, so he kind of gets this band of misfits together. They're all from like different backgrounds, professions, and they all have different motives on what they want out of this heist. I think it sounds super interesting. I haven't really read any fantasy books from a male perspective, so I'm interested about that. I think this book also has a found family trope, which I am a huge fan of. Plus, I haven't really read a fantasy book in a while, so I am actually really excited to read this, especially because it is an OG book talk book. Like, everyone has read it, and I know that the Netflix series has been canceled, but maybe if I like this, I'll end up watching it. Who knows? So the next book I got was Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This is of course her newest release. I am so excited and so petrified to read this book, mainly because I've heard that it is heartbreaking, like it will cause emotional distress. and I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't know if I'm mentally prepared to go through something like that, okay? I read Part of Your World a few months ago and absolutely fell in love with her writing style, and I have bought several of her books since. I just think she does an amazing job of incorporating deeper and meaningful themes like mental health into her books, but also keeping that like fun lightheartedness. And yeah, I am so excited to read this book. Another thing that I just love about Abby Jimenez is that she always incorporates an animal on the cover of her books. Like, that just adds to my reading experience. I don't know how, I don't know why, but it just does. And then lastly, we have Funny Story by Emily Henry. If you are a frequent watcher of my videos, you know Emily Henry is like my all-time favorite author. I could literally read her grocery list and not get bored. That's how much I love her, okay? I just wish she could release a book like every day. That's how much I love her. This obviously is her newest release, and it obviously took the book community by storm like every Emily Henry release day does. And I've actually heard kind of mixed reviews about this book. Destiny Sidwell didn't really like it, but Sarah Caroli loved it. And those are like my two favorite booktubers ever. So I'm anxious to see where I fall in between those two. But I think the premise sounds super interesting. So the two main characters were both engaged. However, their fiancés both left them for each other, if that makes sense. So now they kind of have developed like an unlikely friendship. I think they also move in with each other, so I think they're roommates, so there's forced proximity in there as well. And I just think that sounds super interesting. I'm excited to see if this book lives up to Happy Place, because Happy Place is like a 6-star read for me. And yeah. So that concludes my book haul and my book shopping vlog. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked it, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below if you've read any of these books and if you enjoyed them. And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any videos from me. I also have a Bookstagram, currently .overbooked. The link is always in my description. I post daily. I post book reels, book reviews, book updates. Anything bookish related, I post on there. So make sure to go follow me. And yeah, that is it. I will see you next time. Goodbye.